Morning class, we're going to go over 5.5 direct variation. So we'll start with what a direct variation is. So direct variation is simply a measurement of or a relationship between two variables, two measurables. It's multiplication, and it comes out in the form y equals k times x, so a constant times x. So we're going to go ahead and look at, okay, is it a variation or not a variation? So just a reminder, it simply is a number times x. So if it's not a number, if there's any addition or subtraction, it's not a direct variation. So if we go ahead and we look at this first example that we have, I'll zoom in a little bit. So right here we have y 2x minus 3y equals 1. So the first thing we want to do is isolate the variable. So we want to get y by itself. So that's what we're looking to do. So when we come here, we're going to go ahead and get y by itself. So first of all, we need to get rid of 2x. We get rid of 2x by subtracting it. So if I subtract it from this side, it cancels off. And now you can see I subtracted it over there. Now I need to get rid of this negative 3. To do that, I divide 1 by negative 3 and negative 2 by negative 3. So 1 divided by negative 3 is just negative 1/3. Negative 2 divided by negative 3 switches to positive 2/3. Now, for it to be a direct variation, it needs to be a number times x. And as you can see, it's not just a number times x. We're adding this. So this is not a direct variation. We come here, same thing down here. We want to isolate y. So again, to get rid of 2x, we subtract it. When we subtract, 0 minus 2x is negative 2x. Then we need to get rid of the negative 3, so we divide by negative 3, and we get y is equal to 2/3 x. So, is that a number times x? Yes. So that's an example of a direct variation. Next thing that we'll go on is we want to write an equation for the direct variation that goes to this point, negative 3, 2. So if we look at it, our equation is y equals k times x. They give us an x and a y. So we're going to plug in the x and y into our equation for y and x. So when you do that, 2 goes in for y, negative 3 goes in for x. To get k by itself, so to get rid of this negative 3, divide by negative 3. So negative 3 divided by negative 3 cancels. 2 divided by negative 3 is negative 2/3. So now all you have to do is take this and plug it into your equation for k. So y is equal to negative 2/3 x or negative 2/3 times x. That's our equation. We're going to go through an example of, now we need to go ahead and write it, a story problem. So the weight of an object exerts on a scale varies directly. So anytime we see the word directly, that's what we're going to use, and we're going to write an equation, a direct variation. So when we look at direct variation, we think y equals k times x. So the weight varies directly, so the weight, okay, the mass, and then it's a direct variation, so you have your k, your constant. So we used to have y equals k times x. Instead of y, we're going to use the weight and the mass. The weight varies directly, so this would be our equation. Now, we want to solve for k. We need to know what k is. It says has a mass of 6 kilograms and a weight, the scale reads, so that would be our weight of 59. So we plug it in. Weight of 59, mass of 6, divide by 6, and so we'd have 59 over 6 equals k. We, again, plug this into our equation for k. So our weight is equal to 59/6 times n. To determine if it's a direct variation or not, divide y by x, and we should get the same constant every time. So you go ahead, 8 divided by 2 is 4, 12 divided by 3 is 4, negative 20 divided by negative 5 is 4. So it's a direct variation, and our equation is y equals 4 times x. So let's go ahead and do 2 more examples of these. So let's go ahead and divide. So we have here 1 divided by negative 2 is negative 1/2. Negative 1 divided by 2 is negative 1/2. Negative 2 divided by 4 is negative 1/2. So is that direct variation? Yes, my constant is the same. If I come here, 2 divided by negative 1, negative 2. 2 divided by 1 is 2. Negative 4 divided by 2. As you can see, we have negative 2, positive 2, negative 2. Since it's not all the same, we may just be switching a sign, then it's not a direct variation. So this was a direct variation, so we can write an equation. Our constant is negative 0.5, so that would go in for x. This is not a direct variation, so there's no equation for us to write. So that's what direct variation is. It's an equation that has two variables that we're looking at, and how they vary is through multiplication. So remember the equation y equals k times x.